This is Mattastrophic Music.
And welcome, listeners. You are tuned in to the new podcast called Mattastrophic Music, a show where we talk about our favorite bands and records and have a good time trying to turn you, the listener, as well as us, the hosts, onto some great new tunes and artists. So gather close around the fire and don't forget your hot tea or cocktail. It's time to get into it with your hosts, the Matts, Kelly, and Duffie.
All right, listeners. Today's artist is Myles Kennedy. He is known for his work in Alter Bridge and with Slash of Guns N' Roses fame. He released 2 solo albums, Year of the Tiger 2018 and The Ides of March in 2021, that we use to build this week's 4TrackFstacks. All right, Duffie, I learned a couple tidbits about Myles that I would like
Kelly,
to share with you.
please tell me.
All right. You may already know some of these, but these are new to me. I learned that he auditioned for Led Zeppelin in the late 2000s.
Wow.
Yeah. As a Led Zeppelin fan, I'm surprised that this completely flew under my radar. And when I read this, I'm like, either I've completely forgotten this fact, which is weird because he's a lover of Myles. I know that he really enjoyed his time playing next to Jimmy Page. One of the things that he said stuck out to him was playing my favorite Led Zeppelin song, Kashmir. He said,
"Okay,
he had goose flesh, listening to Page play that live, standing next to him,
standing right next to you."
Yeah, it's like imagine any of your guitar heroes being next to you on stage. I believe we spoke of a band this week that you have for a dream band. Do you want to share that with the public? Who you want to or not? Putting you on the spot.
No, because I want to save that for the episode.
Want to save that? Ooh, now we're building anticipation.
Yeah.
All right. I also learned about Myles is that he is a proponent of wildlife conservation effort.
Okay.
He is a big supporter of the International Fund for Animal Welfare. And
I like that a lot.
Cool. Yeah, I thought that being, one of our shared interests, that was pretty cool to see something like that. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And one other little tidbit, I found out that he married his wife, Selena, on June 14th, 2003, which is, listeners, the day after my birthday. So I share close proximity to special days in our lives, and that's what's important.
That's very sweet.
Isn't it? Okay. What was your experience, Duffie, listening to these 2 solo albums this week?
Okay. Well, before I tell you that, I found a little tidbit.
You found a tidbit.
Nugget.
Oh, I like
You're
this.
This one.
Okay.
Myles Kennedy actually declined an offer to audition for Velvet Revolver.
Really?
Really?
Wow. Was this in the beginning stages of Velvet Revolver before Scott was in it? So he tried out before Scott?
This was initially at the beginning of the band, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that was pretty wild because we did our episode.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Velvet Revolver too, so it's nice to have that history behind that band too. I did not know that.
Yeah, I was excited to share that one with you.
What's it like for you this week?
Oh, it was great. I have always, since I first heard Myles in Alter Bridge, I was a fan immediately of his voice, and I soon came to learn that he writes a good portion of that material, the Alter Bridge material. He's an amazing songwriter. He's been teaching guitar for years before he became known as a famous musician. His day job, he used to be a guitar teacher. So, he's just an amazing musician. His voice is outstanding. Like I said, I've loved him in Alter Bridge. I love his solo records. And so listening to this stuff was really nice. And it was I kind of like the fact too that there was just two of these solo records to listen to, because it was a little easier, less material, could like indulge in it a little more.
Oh yes, I agree.
Yeah, so what about you?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a while since I listened to both of them, and it was nice because I have a pretty strong emotional attachment, in particular to Year of the Tiger. That it was nice to go. It was nice to go back to listen to it now that I've had some distance from the emotion that it brought up in the past, and kind of hear things in a different way, I guess, than when I was originally when it originally affected me. So I was able to kind of have some distance and listen, and it was
his music is really powerful.
Yeah, it is. As I said, it's hard sometimes to separate like the time when you hear the music. It comes, like the moment that you hear that song is kind of etched in my brain when I hear songs that I really like. So then it's like you go back and you listen again, and you're in a new moment and try to make new memories with it. Can sometimes be conflicting if it's really emotional, the initial listen. But
I get that.
After last, it's like, this is just such a great album that it was really, really easy to kind of like see it in a new light. It didn't necessarily give off the sense of melancholy. It gave more hope, I guess, at the end of the listen.
Okay, I get that feeling from it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. You ready to get into the stacks?
Yeah, 4 songs, new F stacks this week.
Oh yeah,
excited for it.
Me too. For the campers playing along at home, each week, we the Matts will pick a band or artist that we love, choosing 4 of our favorite songs to build an F-stack. A 4-track F-stack is deep cuts only, no radio-friendly massive hits allowed. We exchange our F-stacks with one another and consider the gems we have collected to build a combined Mattastrophic ultimate 4-track F-stack. It's a game of cooperation, compromise, shared passion, and musical discovery. We are here to have a wholesome good time, so, ladies, gentlemen, non-binaries, and everyone under the beautiful rainbow of humanity, set your drama down and share in the good vibes at our campfire right here with Mattastrophic music. Let's get positively cosmic.
Let's start. We'll have you go first this time.
All right, listeners. My number 1, Year of the Tiger, off of Year of the Tiger.
You don't say.
You don't say. Now, Duffy, what did you think of this track?
Okay, so I want to tell you that when this record first came out and I first heard this song, I really was not a big fan of this song. And I think just because, the different periods you go through where you're into certain music and you're listening to certain stuff, this kind of like seemed like out in left field for me at the time. And I don't know why, I just like the chorus where he just, sings Year of the Tiger. I got kind of hung up on that. But anyway, going back and listening to it now, I was kind of like, I had it in my mind that, like, I remembered that feeling about this song. I'm like, okay, I'm going back and listening to this song again, which, I was kind of like, whatever about. I dug it a lot more this time. This whole record, in fact, I got into and I appreciated a lot more this time around compared to when it first came out. Yeah. Kind of opposite to what you were just saying with yourself and your experience. And like I said, I think that was just because at the time I was listening to whatever I was listening to, and this was much different. But yeah, I think Year the Tiger is a really solid track. My initial thoughts on it are, it's kind of like a haunting country music sound.
Wow. That's great. I never really considered it as country until you said it right now in this moment, because
And I know you
picked
don't wanna think about it
the
as
single
country.
genre that I just do not connect with
I know.
on a level, and that's great. No, that, you know what, you just broke down a barrier.
Don't want to
right there.
put a bad
I love
taste
it.
in your mouth.
No, you didn't at all. Actually, it's not. I don't go out of my way to like not bond with country music. I've listened. My ears have ingested much country music in my life. Central New York, Texas, even Arizona. Those places, they have a strong affinity for country. You say this now, I can hear the country inflection in the guitar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it. That's when we've bridged. I've took one step out on that tiny bridge towards country music. That's waving my flag a little bit. Okay, I like Year of the Tiger.
Yeah, and I'm terrible with genres as far as like categorizing. I don't really understand what they mean, what fits into what.
The listeners will definitely get that about us, because I'm sure we're going to hear about our little shoegazy side trip last episode.
Yeah, and down the road they're going to hear us say this band is punk rock, and they're going to be like, that band's not punk rock. Yeah. This and that. That band's not blah, blah, blah. But
right.
Anyway, yeah, I kind of got that vibe, that haunting country music sound. But it's, it's like really, it's got that danceable, driving beat to it. Kind of just, I don't know, like a haunting, but like a feel good sort of sound at the same time. One lyric that I took note of that I really like in the song, it's on a cold, cruel July, we didn't know just when the pale horse would arrive, but love alone keeps us alive. When we fear we can't go on at all.
I like that lyric a lot too.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, it's powerful. I personally bonded to the lyric, in the Year of the Tiger, I'm going to stake my claim, run 1,000 miles beyond this house of pain. That initially came out in 2018, I think I said. So I was running a lot every day, and running through, the tail end of some grief, and lost family member, and it just really struck a chord with me, and I would run to this song in particular a lot because it has that particular rhythm that kept a good pace. It seems, like you said, it's haunting, but upbeat. Like, it's a good tempo, but
very driving.
They're really strongly bonded to the particular lyrics. So I picked this as like kind of I wrote like an emotional scalpel. Year of the Tiger isn't necessarily like even one of my favorites of the two albums, really, but it's just the bond I have with the song. Like, it's very, listen to those lyrics, and I relate very strongly to a lot of them. In that moment in time when I first heard it, it was like really latched onto me. So I knew that going into this, it would be really hard not to include this in my F stack. And I just kind of, because you want to share that, have other listeners maybe take a listen and see what they think, and apparently, discover my first country genre inflicted song.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the point of these stacks.
It is.
We pick the songs that touch our heart.
That touch our heart, that are our personal favorites. We don't go into it trying to win a stack. It's ultimately about trying to present the best, most powerful deep cuts that we can come across.
Yeah, in our own personal experience.
Our own personal experience. So, Duffie, do you want to talk about your first choice?
Yeah, track number 1 on the Duffie FStack is Get Along. And just right from the start of this song, the music to this, like, it just plays perfectly in my mind. Just the way it kicks in, the I love, I'm a sucker for a good solid rock song, and I think this delivers on that. It's like the music too. Okay, so once it gets through that intro and he comes into the verse, he starts singing those verse lyrics. The music that's underneath the verse that he sings, I just think, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just an awesome dynamic, the way it goes from that intro, kicking in and rocking like that, to that laid back canvas for him to paint that melody over top of.
Yeah.
I just really dig, that aspect of this song. But also, the lyrics are really, I guess, ultimately what does it for me for this song, because the message is so powerful.
Yeah.
It's a song about why can't we all just get along,
right? Right. And I did read that he wrote this about the 1992 Los Angeles riots, was part of his inspiration for this song. And
oh, no kidding.
To get along, yeah. What do you like the guitar solo? I wrote it was a wicked guitar solos.
Yeah.
Apparently it was really. I hadn't listened to this song too many times. I think it's a great, like, straightforward rock and roll. Like he writes those like right in that rock and roll pocket. It's a true art form. Like, what it kind of reminded me of. Tom Petty has that same quality in his songs. They fit like that rock and roll pocket. He has a real knack.
Yeah,
for that.
I can see that. Yeah, the lyrics, man. The message and the lyrics, it fits perfectly with the tone of the song. So a couple of my favorite lyrics. Where is the love within these borders? When will descend? Why can't we all just get along? You're either ignorant or blind. I thought we left this shit behind. There's no real way of deciding who's right or wrong. And I think that is really, it fits right in with present day society, politics, anything really, like just the way of the world these days. It seems like everybody's trying to decide who's right and who's wrong, and
nobody wants to set their swords down first. Take a moment to chill and get along.
Yeah, and when you look at like worldview, how do you decide whose way is the right way? When we're all from different places and we're all individuals who grew up and lived our lives in the way that we did. It's just, I think it's really powerful message. That's why it's my number one, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. So, so my number two kind of builds right off of that in a way. I chose Blind Faith, also off of Year of the Tiger, and this one received the most spins in the entire week of building this FStack, and it is my little gem discovery because I hadn't really listened to it when I was first really into the album. Maybe I just, for whatever reason, just kind of skipped over it. And listening to it now, I was like, wow, I really dug everything about this. I wrote that it kind of reminded me. Now tell me if you remember this band, Days of the New.
Yeah,
remember that?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
I wrote down this was kind of Days of the Newsy. If that's I couldn't, again, our terribleness with genres will be ever present in this podcast. But, so I just put
more
them,
reasons for the listeners to interject.
You know what? We're going to make them up as we go along. My genre is Days of the Newsy, and I think Blind Faith fits into that genre a little bit. And I put that I love the chorus, because faith can be blind, but it cannot justify the tragedy of love's demise. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I just a very catchy song. I don't know. Something about it really gravitated to me this time, where I hadn't in the past. So it's like one of those weird little things that happen if you love music. Sometimes Year of the Tiger. It's the same thing with me. I probably was like, I heard this and I was like, nah, I'm not really, now I hear it and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. What are your thoughts? Did you like this song?
As far as your description, like Days of the Newsy, I can kind of see that. I think sort of like a southern blues sound, maybe.
Okay.
I think he's playing slide guitar, that riff in the beginning there.
Okay.
So, I think it's kind of like a southern blues, Days of the Newsy sort of thing. I think we're spot on with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, one lyric that really stood out to me in this song, I know you're steadfast in your ways, never compromise your faith, but is it worth it in the end to never see my face again?
Oh. Yeah.
That was pretty powerful.
It is powerful.
And then right after he sings that, it does like the build up, and yeah, it's a good track, and it's also a track for me that I probably passed over, or sometimes like you're listening to a record and you can't wait for, like, you don't let the song play out in its entirety before you skip it.
Yeah, no, I know.
It was probably one of those for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. This whole record was a little bit like that for me when I initially, back in the day when it first came out. Also too, I think because I was such a big Alter Bridge fan at that point, and to hear the difference between the Alter Bridge and this, I was like, I'm waiting for Myles to like really kick in with some some hard rock. Yeah, so I think I appreciate the entire record more now, but yeah, same for me with this song. Yeah, it's a great Southern blues acoustic slide guitar. Yeah.
Love it.
So you ready for my number 2?
I'm ready for your number 2.
So my number 2 is Ides of March.
Ding, 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 ding. We have our first on the Ultimate, as I have also chose Ides of March as my number 4, the Sledgehammer, because this is one epic Myles track. Epic Myles track.
I know, I wish we could listen to it right now.
It's nice, I had to say it twice. I gotta say that this is my new favorite holiday music tradition. I'm going to listen to this every Ides of March going forward. I have done that so far. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm taking his prompt. It's wonderful. It's like when I heard this,
beware when you listen to it.
Yeah,
beware,
listener. It's the Ides of March. What do you, in particular, enjoy about this track?
So this is a masterpiece of a composition, musically. I mean, it starts out with the finger picking, and then I can't even guess the style. It's almost like maybe like a little bit of a Latin infusion, when he goes into the verse. It's real hip and real cool. But yeah, the song, man, from start to finish, it's like all over the place, kind of, with the style and the genre. The sexy swinging verse and bass guitar is kind of tearing it up in there too. So for lyrics, so much is changing who we are, what we are. Life is precious, it's worth keeping. Too many's end may come too soon. And then the first guitar solo comes in, smooth and swanky, real sexy like.
Yeah, I like that. It's like he kind of just strolled up to like the center of the stage, and the spotlight hits him, and like the lights go down. It's like, I totally get it. It's almost like he's like built little acts into this Ides of March play. Like
it's a production.
Yeah, it's kind of like it has that quality to it. It's very much like a full experience from start to finish.
Yeah, and then for me, where this song really starts amping up, getting real good, when the music comes down and it brings it down low, and he says, "But I believe there is a way. I still believe it's not too late. Don't let this fall apart."
Yeah.
I love that part. Remember who we are. And then he says, remember what we're meant to be. And he just, from there, the crescendo and the awesomest guitar solo. It's all I can say is it sounds like Queen. It's like Brian May. It's like, something from Bohemian Rhapsody, it just like
that's a good reference.
Yeah.
Wow, I hadn't thought of that. That's good.
Come screaming in with that like Queen-esque guitar solo, man. I love it.
Yeah. That's my favorite solo on that album, but it fits the song so well. I wrote down break the divide, just step away, cool heads prevail in times of change.
Yeah.
Almost like stoicism, not exactly, but like to kind of step back from your emotions a little bit. Like you're still feeling, it's okay to feel overwhelmed, but flying off the handle at probably the wrong person is not going to solve the problems that are in front of you. Like, I love that he always has those like little messages in his song, and they're always really positive, and you leave the song feeling a little bit better. Even when he's writing about like dark and sad stuff, I always feel like I leave a Myles song going, yeah, like, all right, this is gonna be all right. He's got my back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And obviously, we both love it enough that it's on the stack, on the ultimate.
And then he ends the song. He brings it back, and he ends with that warning: "Beware the Ides of March."
Beware the Ides of March.
So, which when I think about it right now, I'm like, dude, you just like rocked us and made us feel so good, and now why are you bringing it back and telling us to beware?
He's just literally like leaving a bummer note, like, oh man. And he doesn't usually do that, so it's like he's playing another little twist at the end of his little play.
He's like, I know you really just enjoyed this song, but beware the Ides of March.
Keep one eye open when you go to sleep tonight.
It's our first song on the Ultimate.
I got the first song on the Ultimate. All right, so that was your number 2. So will be my number 3, which was Songbird. Also, off of Year of the Tiger, which if you can't tell by now, love that album. What do you think of Songbird?
Okay, so I'm bringing this back up again.
Okay.
I think this is kind of like an Americana country sound, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was thinking more of
you
like...
have to accept the fact that you like country.
I guess I have to. Or at least I like Myles doing country. So, I mean, if Myles put out a country album, I'd probably listen to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this...
You would.
I mean, right, I would. That's wild. So let's say we're discovering new things about ourselves as we do this. Because my thought was, at the time of, the grunge that we grew up on, maybe a little bit later, a little bit post-grunge, like, but pre-rap metal, like that little, like, area of time where things were kind of, I don't know, unsure in the music industry. And then there was, like, those little, like, I seemed like everybody had, like, an acoustic ballad that you could sit around a campfire and play guitar to, kind of know it. It kind of has that, like, I feel like I could have, late 90s, early 2000s, be sitting around a campfire and have couple acoustic guitars playing this melody and people singing along to it.
Yeah.
I like that it took me there, because I really didn't really, again, this is another song that I didn't really gravitate to in the first time I listened to Year of the Tiger. So it's like a new passion. So it was a nice discovery. So I was just happy to put it in there, just to be like, I'm just finding these gems and happy to be building these FStacks, because it's like, great, now I'm going to be listening to this song, going forward. So I like it a lot.
Yeah, this song has a really great chorus. I think the chorus is kind of the shining moment of the song. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. As far as I could tell, I think this is a song about carrying on after your loved one has passed and knowing that they still love you. Yeah,
the gist that I got as well.
Yeah.
What was your number 3?
Number 3 for me is Wanderlust Begins.
All right.
That's it.
And that's all we have to say about it? No.
Next.
I personally, I love this track. This is probably right behind Ides of March and my second favorite song on the album, and it was just missed the cut for me personally. I just love I wrote the adventurous, upbeat song quality, but also, like, again, there's some sadness in the lyrics reading along that I didn't idea of, like, wanderlust. I've had that since I was a child, so immediately gravitate towards that in the song. But then I read the lyrics and I was like, oh, this is a little bit more sad, like more little melancholy behind it than I initially picked up on. Did you notice that as well, or?
Yeah, a little bit, but still the feeling that I just get from this song is peaceful and beautiful. I feel like it's a song I could sleep to, or also, Wanderlust, the meaning, it's, a strong desire to travel.
Yeah.
And so this song definitely gives me that impression of hitting the open road.
Yep.
And taking in nature and taking in the beauty. And so, I can also, or almost picture myself, maybe sitting as a passenger in a vehicle when you're on a road trip and just like spacing out, the song's playing and my head's looking out the window and I'm just, completely relaxed and,
Good vibes.
You're in it for the long trip, and so you just, nothing to do but take it all in, and it's kind of what I get from it.
Yeah, excellent track. Excellent choice.
All right, cool. Let's move on. Number 4.
Well, my number 4, my Sledgehammer is already on the board.
Oh, that's right. Ides. Ultimate.
Ides, as in the ultimate. So we're going into your number 4, which I think we should let the listener know, add a little initial controversy leading into this.
So,
let's peel back the curtain a little bit.
That was all on me, too, because, so my pick for number 4 spot is Love Can Only Heal. And so, originally, when we were talking about our episode here for Myles Kennedy, we like to take all the hits off the table for the F-stacks right away. And so, discussing Myles, we were, thinking, what hits, I guess, does he really have? It's not like he gets radio play. So, just perusing, I was on YouTube, I was like, oh, well, Love Can Only Heal. I mean, this song has however many millions of views. And so, this has got to be a hit, and it was my idea to take it off the table. But, this was never released as a single, and just because the song has a lot of listens, that just means it's a good song and it's a popular song. And so
that's true.
I actually had to have my mind changed on this by my wife, Amber. Shout out to Amber.
Shout out to Amber.
She really pushed for this song, and she was like, kind of made me see exactly what I just said, that it wasn't a single, it wasn't like, released in that way, it's just a popular song. This is, his fans, the fans love this tune. She got me to see the light. Yep, she got me to see things in the right way.
I was blown away when I listened to it, because I'm like, I don't know how these songs, like, how do I love this album, and then it's like, I miss this. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This was,
oh yeah.
It's so good. I wrote, like, my notes, like, I was just, like, scribbling frantically, because I was like, it sounds like, I wrote that it had a classic haunting sound to it. I wrote that it reminded me of, in the most wonderful ways, it reminded me of Heart. It reminded me of Led Zeppelin a little bit, some of their acoustic stuff. And then I wrote Jethro Tull, which I hadn't listened to in a while. And for a while, I was on a pretty big Jethro Tull kick. It just was immediately sprang to attention. It's Myles all the way, but also just has like those little bit of the ingredients from those bands kind of sprinkled on the way that, great artists can do. I immediately was like, I can see why fans love this song. Like, it was phenomenal.
And when you listen to the record as a whole, this song just sticks right out. You know what I mean? It like, it's completely different than every other song on this record.
I took it out because initially, so I listened to it after it was on the F-stack. So it was like during that like purposeful like sit down, headphones on, reading the lyrics, listening to this, and I was just like, oh, this is very, very delightful from the get-go. I'm like, this is right up my alley. Of the second verse has like a spaghetti western feel to it. It's like an 80s Guns N' Roses hair ballad kind of quality to it too, a little bit. And I say this is an unabashed ambassador for 80s rock, all music 80s. Like, I love it all. So it's like when I compare that, I mean that only in like a glowing way. Like, I wish more bands I wish bands would rediscover the love of hair metal and hair band, like not sarcastically, not ironically, just genuinely make like 80s rock music again.
Oh yeah, there's a
I want
few
that.
out there that are doing that.
See, I'm already putting out the Mattastrophic signal, listeners. I'm putting it out there, like bling, bling, bling. If there are bands that are making 80s rock music today, let us know so I can check them out. Please and thank you.
So for lyrics of this song, amazing lyrics.
Mhm.
Never mind the pain, 'cause love can only heal. If only you could trade the dark for light, it might reveal that there's a place inside. Don't be afraid to feel, 'cause love can only heal.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
very cool.
I love it.
And then the big crescendo with the la la la's.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I'm a fan of that. I love
I've
a good
watched,
little la 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 sing along because I'm gonna
Yeah.
sing it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna crank it and I'm gonna sing it.
Yeah, I listened to a live recording of this, and when he gets to that part, all the crowd just sings right along.
Oh,
Yeah,
I would love to
and
be
it's
a
one
part
of those
that.
moments. Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
really.
Oh, that's wonderful. It sounds like we're gonna have our hands full creating an ultimate stack here.
Yeah,
So
we have three
a lot
songs.
of we have a lot of love for Myles. A lot of love for Myles. So what are you thinking? We got one on the board in the Ides of March.
Yeah.
Which, depending on what else we pick, we'll see what
I
we
think
slot.
"Love Can Only Heal" should be on there.
All right. And I would then, with those two on there, I would put them at Ides at 3 and Love Can Only Hear as 4, because it's almost like a song where I think that's a good like encore, like the finish. Like Myles comes back out on stage and does Love Can Only Heal would be a great way to leave,
Oh yeah,
leave a performance. Whereas Eyes of March is that one where like they leave you with the big performance and then he walks off stage and waves to the crowd and you get to chant Myles for a little bit and then so we can take care of that. So now we have 2 slots and 5 songs to choose from. What's a song that you really want the listener to hear?
I think. I mean, "Songbird" just has that really pleasant chorus, that
Yep.
it just stands out, and I think it puts the listener into, a joyful feeling. I think we need something like that, when we have those 2 heavy hitters on the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
no, I
have
like
a song like that.
Yeah, that's some great logic. I like that. Yeah, I'd put that at number 2. So then what do we want to get him with? I would say maybe Wanderlust? Or do you think Wanderlust and Songbird are similar in the
It's funny that you say that because I actually found a mashup of "Songbird" and "Wanderlust" on YouTube.
What?
Yeah, where somebody
What?
put the 2 songs together.
What? That you're blowing my mind, dude. Like
I know.
like a continuation of this, like one rolls into the other, or they're like cut
No,
and sliced
like
into
one
each
is
other.
over top of the other. Yeah.
What? Or
Like they put
literally
the 2 on
over
top
top,
of each
like
other.
oh what? What?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's your daily. I don't understand the internet at all. Sometimes.
Yeah, I took note of it because it was our 2 picks, so I took note of it. I was like, "Wow, this is weird." Somebody,
and then I kind of like
the songs.
almost like brain farted like that concept too. Like they do sound similar, and now it's like I'm gonna have to fight the urge to load that up after and listen to that because I don't want to do that. I don't know. That doesn't sound like something that I really want in my brain because I love those songs so much. Weirded out in not a good way.
Yeah, I only listened to like 15 seconds of it.
Okay, you tapped. You're done. Okay.
Yeah, it's like people are
okay.
doing
So
weird stuff out here.
So you'd get a kind of good idea of like one of these 2 songs. Then you kind of get a good sample of a portion of his songcraft.
I
in either
say
one.
for song number 1, we need to really grab the listener.
Okay.
So I was thinking either "Year of the Tiger" or "Get Along."
Let's see then. I think probably Get Along, just because it is more
It's
rock.
more
like
rock, yeah.
Like yeah. My secret new affection with country. I don't want to lead this with that. I like the
But
messaging.
on the other hand, if we put "Year of the Tiger" on there,
Okay.
I think it kind of steers the listener away from thinking this is like another Alter Bridge project.
Right. I
Get
hadn't thought of
Along
that.
is more along the lines of Alter Bridge.
On the third hand, though, this might get along
On the foot.
on the foot. On the left foot, Myles, list fans of Alter Bridge who may not really know too much or have given this album's a recent shake, this might be the good wet that foot with Get Along. You know, they kind of
Touche.
bridges the gap between, it kind of Alter bridges that gap to his solo work. And now it does seem like I'm really trying to fight that. But I love Year of the Tiger, so it really is, you jump right into it and get that vibe, get you going with Year of the Tiger as well. So I have no qualms either way, and I don't know how we haven't come across a real like bump in the build yet.
Yeah.
This is the first
This is a head scratcher.
This is a head scratcher, our first head scratcher. We're going to have to insert like a little sound effect here.
I have one of my dogs on the floor here. I could like ruffle her fur up and see like if she gives me a nasty growl, then that would be for Year of the Tiger.
Year of the Tiger. If she just gets along, then it's for Get Along.
Yeah.
Perfect. You know,
No, I don't want to do that.
I feel like we gotta make a bold stance here. Like, I think probably you were right with Year of the Tiger in the sense that it does establish that it is a different thing.
Yeah, you're not
from
listening
Alter Bridge
to Alter
entirely.
Bridge.
You're not listening to Alter Bridge,
and you're going on a different journey. You're about to ride a different ride here.
Excellent way of putting it. So I think that's a good number one for our ultimate.
Awesome.
So I think we have ourselves a stack.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweet.
1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1, Year of the Tiger. Number 2, Songbird.
Yep.
No. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't. The one time I didn't write it down. Number 3, Ides of March, and number 4 is Love Can Only Heal. That is our Mattastrophic Ultimate 4-track F-stack for Myles Kennedy.
Nice. I'll clap on that. Great episode, man. Great stack.
Episode.
I had a lot of fun with listening to this.
Me too. A lot of fun. What was your song of the week, sir?
Okay, so my song of the week is as far away from the sound of Myles Kennedy as you can possibly get.
Boy, here we go.
So the band is called Ice Nine Kills.
Okay.
And the song is called Thank God It's Friday. And I kind of liked that it's Friday when we record our episodes.
Yeah.
And the song title's Thank God It's Friday. Have you ever heard of this band? Ice Nine Kills?
I have not. This is my first exposure.
Okay. So they are, I guess, a metalcore band, but really over like the last maybe like decade, they've transformed into a horror band. So yeah, so basically like their last 2 records, every song is based on a horror movie.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, and they do it really
awesome.
well. They do it they do a really good job.
Oh man, no.
So,
I see a rabbit hole forming in front of me right now.
So Thank God It's Friday is about Friday the 13th.
Oh, nice. Great tie-in.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, I'm definitely checking this out. I'm excited because that's a great tie-in.
Yeah, today is, folks, Friday the 13th as we record this episode.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know that you're a big fan of horror movies, so
I am.
You definitely check out this one track, and if you like it, I mean, dive in, because like I said, every song is based on a different horror movie. Yeah, and they kind of incorporate like the theme music almost, or like the tone of those movies.
Even better.
And into their songs. Cool tune. What was yours?
I had a little bit of a internal controversy, a dilemma, I guess you could say, in choosing mine this week. Normally not an issue, because normally I'm always, like, I have one song that really just tends to grab me. The one that grabbed me, I want to save that band for our hard mode episode in the future, and I didn't want your first exposure to be this song, so I was like, I kind of put it in my back pocket, even though it is technically my song of the week. So listeners, in the future, I will make reference to the song.
You little rascal.
FStack. I know, and it was like, oh, and so today I was like, well, what was the other song? It's like, well, what am I in the mood to listen to? And I had put on Huey Lewis and the News sports album, and you can see, well, Duffie can see, I'm wearing my Huey Lewis shirt.
Nice.
My song of the week is Huey Lewis and the News, The Heart of Rock and Roll.
Nice.
I cranked that today, dude. I love that little heartbeat intro on, good speakers is amazing. Like, it's that bass, like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, it's just that some of that straightforward rock and roll in the pocket that we were talking about earlier. Like,
yeah.
It gets it going, and it's, I have like 100 positive memories associated to this song, because it was my favorite band from, since I was a little, 3 or 4 years old. It was my first real rock concert, was Huey Lewis and the News. One of my favorite moments, like, ever, I sang this song in karaoke.
Oh, nice.
It gave me the confidence to essentially create my own book publishing company and publish my own book. It was a moment where I never had received a response. It was one of the first times that I ever sang karaoke out loud. Like, I've never stage fright and didn't really believe in my voice or anything like that. And then I got up one day and I did it, and it was like, it was the most wonderful, just a wonderful, cherished memory. So a lot of good vibes just came pouring out of those speakers today, and I was like, oh, this is solves my dilemma almost instantly. I was like, that's cool. The musical spirit was floating over me on Friday the 13th, blessed me with The Heart of Rock and Roll. That's my song of the week, and I'm sticking to it.
That's cool, man. I like that story. I'm going to have to definitely rock that through my headphones, because
yes, sir.
I haven't heard that song in a really long time, and I don't know if I've ever heard that song, like, played through a good set of speakers.
Yeah, they are an underrated band from the 80s from a musical talent standpoint. Everybody thinks of, like, the big pop hits and stuff, but being exposed to this band and having them be my first great musical love opened up so many doors, possibilities from music-wise. So that'll be a fun episode to do. I would really enjoy making because that's one that everybody from the 80s would know all the hits to Huey Lewis. I know the gem. I know every song in his catalog pretty much by heart. Like, easily the first 5-6 albums. I could pick some really good songs that maybe people have never heard ever. So that'd be fun to do.
Man, I didn't even know he had 5 or 6 albums.
Oh yeah, no, he's been proliferating up until recently. He also, interesting / sad tidbit is that he has similar hearing issues where it prevents him now from performing live anymore. So I have that, that strong bond in a sense.
Yeah, I think I heard that about him.
Yeah, and let's pick that back up into the positive and talk about what our next band is going to be, and that's going to be one full of energy and up tempo. I'll let you announce it, Duffie.
Listeners, our next episode is my personal #1 favorite band of all time. Little band from California called The Offspring.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for this one. Yeah, like I just said it. My favorite band has been since I was like maybe 14 or 15 years old or something like that. So, yeah, I'm all in.
I'm all in too. You want to let the audience know some of the songs that'll be off limits, their hits, stuff that they're known for. Come Out and Play, Self-Esteem, Gone Away, Pretty Fly. The Kids Aren't All Right, Original Prankster, Any more that you can think of? Oh, why don't you get a job?
There's a lot.
Gotta get away.
couldn't
That's
even-
the one
I
we
mean-
just talked about earlier. Gotta get away.
I mean, even
Such
they
a
just
good
put out
song.
a record this year, I believe it came out.
Yeah.
Well, last year now. Yeah, even off of that, Let the Bad Times Roll. That was all over the radio for a while. So, yeah, they've been at it, and they're still successful, and they're still cranking out tunes and bringing in new fans.
Hell
Man.
yeah. We're digging into the bounty of the offspring. We will be bringing you some fresh 4-track F-stacks next week. Oh, you have something more to add?
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say for the listeners at home, get your Offspring F-stacks ready, and
Yes.
join us to see how your stack compares. Maybe you think we're wrong, maybe you think we're right, but we don't care because it's all good.
This music.
They're all good.
We found some songs we like, and we're happy.
So we're gonna say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. What do you say?
Adios.
Bye bye.